Hello, dear students. We are dealing with vapor pressure calculation and expression. Now, before we begin with the vapor pressure, let us revise mole fraction first. Mole fraction. So, the mole fraction which is represented by x. What is mole fraction? So, as we have already said, that mole fraction is fraction of mole of any specific component present in a mixture of two or more component. Mole fraction is the fraction of mole of any specific component present in a mixture of two or more component. So let us discuss. Suppose if there are two component, one is component A, another is component B, and they are mixed to form mixture. How much A taken? To say WA grams of A taken, WB grams of B taken. That is WA gram of A, WB gram of B are mixed to form a mixture. Suppose if molecular weight of A is MA, whereas molecular weight of B is MB, hence we can calculate the mole. So mole of A is Na, mole of A is Na, which is weight of A upon its molecular weight. Mole of B is Nb, which is weight of B upon its molecular weight. So mole of A is Na, that of B is Nb, hence total mole is Na plus Nb. How we can calculate the mole fraction? The mole fraction of A in the mixture, which is represented by Xa, mole fraction of A in the mixture, mole fraction of A in the mixture, which is represented by Xa, is mole of A upon the total mole. Mole of A upon the total mole. Mole of A and A upon total mole, Na plus Nb, is mole fraction of A. Mole fraction of B in the mixture is Xb, which is mole of B upon the total mole. Now the sum of the mole fraction of all the component 2 or more is always be 1. Sum of the mole fraction of all the component present in a mixture will always be 1. So based on the mole fraction concept is the vapor pressure based. So let us start with the calculation of vapor pressure. How we can express and calculate the vapor pressure. So let's begin with vapor pressure. Now what is vapor pressure? So we say vapor pressure is the pressure, vapor pressure. Vapor pressure is the pressure exerted by the vapor produced by any liquid at constant temperature. The pressure exerted by the vapors produced by any liquid at constant temperature is termed as vapor pressure of that liquid. Suppose we have taken a beaker in which we have taken volatile solvent. Since it is volatile, therefore it will vaporize. It will vaporize to form vapors. So conversion of liquid into vapor is termed as vaporization. Conversion of liquid into vapor is termed as vaporization. Now this process of vaporization will continue how long? So we say it will continue until the atmosphere around this beaker does not get saturated by vapor of this liquid. Since this liquid solvent is very small in quantity, the atmosphere around it is quite huge. Therefore this little amount of solvent cannot saturate the atmosphere around. Hence we have to limit the atmosphere. Limit the atmosphere of this beaker. So in order to limit the atmosphere of this liquid, we are putting a bell jar. We have put a bell jar over this so that the atmosphere of this liquid becomes constant or limited. Now since it has become limited, therefore its a saturation is possible. So what happens? This liquid starts vaporizing until the atmosphere around does not become saturated by vapor of this liquid. Since atmosphere is limited, it will get saturated. Once it gets saturated, the reverse process will start. Conversion of vapor back into liquid. Conversion of vapor back into liquid. So this conversion of vapor back into liquid is termed as condensation. Conversion of vapor into liquid is termed as condensation. Initially there is only vaporization. With time condensation also begins. That is, there was a forward change, liquid into vapor, then there would be a backward change, conversion of vapor into liquid, and now after some time the rate of vaporization and condensation will become same. So once the two rate becomes same, the system is set to reach the equilibrium. Once equilibrium is achieved, then only we can specify or measure the vapor pressure. So vapor pressure of any liquid is measured at equilibrium. Now suppose this system has reached equilibrium. Suppose this system has reached equilibrium. This system has reached equilibrium. Now at equilibrium, what would be the vapor pressure? Now how vapor pressure is exerted? We say that this liquid is converting into vapors. These vapor particles are mobile. Therefore they will move and collide with the wall of the container. Also collide with its own surface, exerting pressure. So we said the pressure exerted by the vapors produced by any liquid at constant temperature is termed as vapor pressure of that liquid. The pressure exerted by the vapors produced by any liquid at constant temperature. So suppose at 25 degrees centigrade, the vapor pressure of this pure solvent is P0A, P not A. The pressure exerted by the vapor produced by this liquid, suppose it is P0A, P not A. Now, in another beaker, we have taken the same solvent, but now into the solvent which is volatile, we have added solute which is non-volatile. So when into solvent we add solute, it results in formation of solution. What is solution? We say solution is a mixture. Solution is a mixture of solute and solvent. So since it is a mixture, therefore the two component that is involved will have their mole fraction. Solution is a mixture, therefore two component, the solvent and the solute involved, will have their mole fraction. So suppose mole fraction of solvent is XA. What is XA? It is mole of solvent upon the total mole. Suppose mole fraction of solute is XB, which is mole of solute upon the total mole. So mole fraction of solvent is XA, mole fraction of solute is XB. Now again, this liquid will vaporize to form vapors. Again, a system is being, this atmosphere is being limited by putting a bell jar. This system is allowed to reach equilibrium. Once equilibrium is achieved, then we measure the vapor pressure. So now since this liquid also, this mixture contains volatile solvent and non-volatile solute, since it contains volatile solvent, therefore again it will vaporize. Due to presence of volatile solvent, it will vaporize to form vapors. The system reaches equilibrium, and now we say the pressure exerted by the vapors produced by this mixture, that is solution. The pressure exerted by the vapors produced by this solution is termed as vapor pressure of solution. Is termed as vapor pressure of solution. Now suppose if vapor pressure of pure solvent is P0A. Vapor pressure of pure solvent is P0A at 25 degrees centigrade, and suppose at the same temperature the vapor pressure of solution is PA. At the same temperature, vapor pressure of the solution is PA. The vapor pressure of solution is PA. The vapor pressure of pure solvent is P0A, that of solution is PA, and the observation is कि as compared to vapor pressure of pure solvent, vapor pressure of pure solvent P0A, the vapor pressure of solution will always be less. Remember, vapor pressure of solution which is prepared by adding non-volatile solute in volatile solvent will always be less. It will always be less than vapor pressure of pure solvent. This is vapor pressure of solution. This is vapor pressure of pure solvent. I said vapor pressure of solution will always be less than vapor pressure of pure solvent. Let us discuss the reason before we proceed. Now, in case of pure solvent, all the particles on the surface are those which can vaporize. In case of pure solvent, all the particles on the surface can vaporize. But in case of solution, along with volatile particle on the surface, non-volatile solute will also be present on the surface, which means vaporizing solvent particle on the surface of the solution would be less than the number of solvent particle on the surface in case of pure solvent. So in case of pure solvent, number of vaporizing particle on the surface are more. In case of solution, the number of vaporizing particle are less. Therefore, vaporization would be less. Hence, vapor pressure would be less. Therefore, we say vapor pressure of solution would be less than vapor pressure of pure solvent. Now, I proceed further. Very important. Very important information. Now, this vapor pressure of solution PA. Vapor pressure of solution PA depends upon what? So, this solution is having two components. One is volatile solvent, other is non-volatile solute. Vapor pressure depends upon solvent, which is volatile, but not on solute because it is non-volatile. So we said that vapor pressure of solution is directly proportional to XA, which is mole fraction of solvent. In case of solution, there are two components. One component is volatile, other component is non-volatile. Vapor pressure depends upon the volatile component. It does not depend upon non-volatile component, that is solute. So vapor pressure of solution is directly proportional to mole fraction of solvent. Now, in order to remove the proportionality sign, we are now applying the constant. So we said that PA is directly proportional to XA. In order to remove proportionality sign, we are applying a constant. So we can say that PA is equal to constant into XA. In order to remove proportionality sign, we have applied a constant. Now further, we say that since vapor pressure of pure solvent is a constant at constant temperature, I said at 25 degrees centigrade, the vapor pressure of pure solvent is P0A, means it's a constant. What we are saying? We say that since vapor pressure of pure solvent, that is P0A, is a constant at constant temperature, therefore P0A can be replaced as constant. P0A, which is vapor pressure of pure solvent, is a constant. Therefore, instead of this constant, I can replace it by P0A. So, what I am writing? So, I am writing PA is equal to, it was PA is proportional to XA. Now, I am writing PA is equal to P0A into XA. PA is equal to P0A into XA. Vapor pressure of solution. So I said vapor pressure of solution is directly proportional to mole fraction of solvent. Vapor pressure of solution is directly proportional to mole fraction of solvent, or we can say vapor pressure of solution is equal to sum of the vapor pressure of pure solvent into its mole fraction. Vapor pressure of solution is equal to the product of vapor pressure of pure solvent into its mole fraction. vapor pressure of pure solvent into its mole fraction. So what is PA? It is vapor pressure of solution. P0A is vapor pressure of solvent. XA is mole fraction of solvent. Now based on this, that PA is equal to P0A into XA, there is a very important concept termed as the Raoult's law. There is a very important concept termed as the Raoult's law. So let us now discuss the Raoult's law. What this law says? Raoult's law. Suppose if there is one liquid A, there is another liquid B. There is one liquid A, there is another liquid B. Suppose if vapor pressure of A is PA, that of B is PB. Vapor pressure of A is PA, that of B is PB. Now what is value of PA? So I said value of PA would be, so PA is equal to P0A into XA. It is P0A into XA. What is value of PB? PB is equal to P0B into XB. PA is equal to P0A into XA. PB is P0B into XB. Now what is XA? Very important. What is XA? XA is mole fraction of solvent in liquid A. What is XA? It is mole fraction of solvent in A. What is XB? Very important over here. XB is again mole fraction of solvent. In previous case I said solute, but over here देखिए, over here it is XB is equal to mole fraction of solvent in B. So XA is mole fraction of solvent in A, XB is mole fraction of solvent in B. So XA over here is mole fraction of solvent in A, XB is mole fraction of solvent in B. So Raoult says that if these two mixture whose vapor pressure is PA and PB are mixed together, two liquids whose vapor pressure is PA and PB are mixed together to form a mixture, then he says that vapor pressure of the mixture, Raoult says vapor pressure of the mixture would be sum of the two vapor pressure. The vapor pressure of the mixture would be sum of the two vapor pressure. Vapor pressure of this mixture, it is P mixture, is equal to PA plus PB. Vapor pressure of the mixture is sum of vapor pressure of A, vapor pressure of B. Now what is value of PA? So we said it is P0A into XA. What is value of PB? It is P0B into XB. Therefore, we can say that vapor pressure of the mixture, very important, vapor pressure of the mixture is equal to P0A into XA, which is value of PA, plus P0B into XB, which is value of PB. So vapor pressure of the mixture is sum of PA plus PB. Now if we make a graphical representation for this, if we make a graphical representation for this concept, the graphical representation, very important, how we can represent this graphically. If we make a graphical representation of this Raoult's law, the graphical representation of Raoult's law. Now suppose if we plot a graph of vapor pressure versus mole fraction. If a graph is plotted vapor pressure versus mole fraction, so mole fraction of A is XA, whose minimum value is 0 and maximum value is 1. I said XA plus XB is equal to 1. So sum of the two mole fraction will be 1. So the minimum value of XA, we are discussing the vapor pressure versus mole fraction graph for A, which depends upon the mole fraction of A, which is XA, whose minimum value is 0, maximum value is 1. Minimum value is 0, maximum value is 1. So when XA is equal to 0, the vaporizing component is 0, vapor pressure is also 0. as vaporizing component increasing and becomes maximum 1, then vapor pressure also becomes maximum, that is 1. So when it is 0, vapor pressure is 0, mole fraction is 0, vapor pressure is 0. When mole fraction becomes maximum, vapor pressure becomes maximum. The vapor pressure becomes maximum. The vapor pressure becomes maximum. This is minimum vapor pressure, this is maximum for A. Now again, suppose if I plot graph for component B. For component B, again graph is the mole fraction versus vapor pressure. It is the mole fraction versus the vapor pressure graph. So in case of B, the vapor pressure depends upon the mole fraction of solvent, that is XB. In case of liquid B, the vapor pressure will depend upon, it will depend upon the mole fraction of solvent, that is XB, whose minimum value is 0 and maximum value is 1. Minimum value is 0, maximum value is 1. So when it is 0, vapor mole fraction is 0, vapor pressure is also 0. As it becomes maximum, vapor pressure becomes maximum. As it becomes maximum, vapor pressure becomes maximum. So this is the graph for A. When XA 0, vapor pressure 0, XA 1, vapor pressure maximum. XB is equal to 0, vapor pressure 0. When XB becomes maximum, vapor pressure becomes maximum. This is graph for A individually. This is graph for B individually. Now suppose if we mix two liquid, if two liquid are mixed to form a mixture, if two liquids are mixed to form a mixture, then how this mixture graph will look like? How the graph for the mixture will look like? So now we are plotting the vapor pressure versus the mole fraction graph. The vapor pressure versus the mole fraction graph for mixture. Vapor pressure versus the mole fraction. The mole fraction graph, vapor pressure versus the mole fraction graph for the mixture. Now if this is the line for A, this is the line for A. When XA is equal to 0, vapor pressure is equal to 0. When it becomes 1, vapor pressure becomes maximum. This is the graph for A. This is the graph for A. The graph for A. Now graph for B. So this is the graph for B. This one is the graph for B. The graph for B. When XB is equal to 0, vapor pressure is 0. When XB becomes 1, vapor pressure becomes maximum. So this is the graph applicable to A. This is the graph applicable to B. But the graph which applies to the mixture is this. The graph which applies to the mixture is this. The graph that applies to the mixture is this. This is the graph applicable to mixture. So what would be vapor pressure of the mixture? So we say vapor pressure of the mixture is sum of the vapor pressure of A. This is suppose if I discuss at this point. If I discuss vapor pressure at this point, the point at which I am pointing. If we want to discuss vapor pressure at this point, the vapor pressure of the mixture at this point would be vapor pressure of A, that is PA, plus vapor pressure of B, that is PB, is the total vapor pressure. This is value of PA plus value of PB, and this is the total value. So if vapor pressure of A is PA plus vapor pressure of B is PB, then total pressure is vapor pressure of the mixture. So this is what Raut has to say. Raut says that in case of mixture, the vapor pressure of the mixture would be sum of the two vapor pressure. It would be sum of the two vapor pressure. The vapor pressure of the mixture should be sum of the two vapor pressure. But Raut himself observed that vapor pressure of the mixture should be the sum of the two vapor pressure. Vapor pressure of the mixture should be sum of the two vapor pressure, but in most of the cases, the resulting vapor pressure comes to be different from what it should be. it comes to be different from what it should be. That is, the mixture exhibit deviation. The mixture exhibit deviation. The mixture exhibit deviation. So according to Raoult, the vapor pressure of the mixture should be sum of the two vapor pressure, but Raoult himself observed that in most of the cases the resulting vapor pressure comes to be either more than the sum, it comes to be more than the sum, or it comes to be less than the sum. Vapor pressure of the mixture should be sum of the two vapor pressure, but in most of the cases it comes to be either greater than the sum, called as positive deviation, it comes to be less than the sum, called as negative deviation. So positive deviation and negative deviation. Positive deviation, negative deviation. So deviation from Raoult's law are of two types. A mixture should follow Raoult's law, but the most of the mixture exhibit deviation from the Raoult's law. That will be explained in the topic to follow. I will explain that in the topic to follow. What is the reason behind the deviation? Why mixture exhibit deviation? It should be sum of the two vapor pressure, but in most of the cases, the deviation is exhibited. What is the reason behind deviation? We discuss in the topic to follow. The reason behind deviation from the Raoult's law will be discussed in the topic to follow. Thank you.